I live a pretty radically simple life. For almost 5 years now, I've worn the same outfit every day, plain gray shirt and black pants. I also sleep on the floor on like a 2 or 3 inch thick mat that I roll out every night. I eat the same basic foods. I have a pretty consistent daily routine, don't have a lot of stuff, keep a pretty simple space. I love material simplicity. I think it's actually a gospel value that every Christian believer should have in their life. Some amount of material simplicity. And that's not to say that every follower of Jesus needs to make a vow of poverty, give up every one of their possessions, wear the same clothes every day, and sleep on the floor. But Jesus does say, how hard is it for one who has wealth to enter the kingdom of God? And he tells the rich young man, go and sell all you have, give to the poor, and come follow me. And he says, blessed are the poor, truly blessed, happy are those who live a simple life. I think that material simplicity is part of what it means to be Christian. And I have 4 rules or guiding principles for how I live that out. And I want to share those 4 with you today. Within the umbrella of this topic, we could probably talk both about stuff and about money, maybe as 2 different categories. And I actually have another set of rules for financial material simplicity, and maybe that's a whole nother video. And if this is intriguing to you, let me know in the comments below, and I'll give you all my hot takes on money in a different video. But when it comes to material possessions, the stuff that we have, that we own, that we accumulate, I have 4 general principles that I try to abide by to live material simplicity. So here they are. Number 1 is I regularly assess inventory and I know what stuff I own. And when I say inventory, it's not like I have like a running spreadsheet of all the stuff that I have, but I do just kind of go around my space and see what stuff I have and what stuff I've accumulated. And as I'm saying this, probably all of you, everyone's got a closet or a few drawers or a garage or a basement that's just packed with junk. Stuff that you have accumulated over the years that you've probably said like, oh, I'm sure I'll use this again at some point. But have you really? There's probably a ton of stuff that all of us have tucked away in a drawer or closet or some space in the place that we live that we thought we would use, and it just sits there, sort of useless. And the idea here is that first step is I know all the stuff that I have. If you are at the point where you're like, I don't even know what's in that closet, then step 1 of the sort of poverty check is just to assess. Take inventory, because there's a good chance you got a lot of stuff that you never use and probably don't even know that you still have. Then number 2 is I get rid of stuff that I don't intentionally use or for which I have a clear need. Don't be afraid to, when you start going through your stuff, if there's a bunch of stuff that you're like, yep, didn't even know I had it. This has been sitting here for a long time. I don't actually use this, to just get rid of it. I mean, there's no real point in accumulating a bunch of stuff if you never actually use it, and it just takes up space. And there's a few ways that you can get rid of your stuff. The simplest is just to throw it away. But really, you could, I don't know, you have a garage sale, you sell your stuff on Facebook Marketplace, or you could just donate the stuff. There are probably other people who could find value in the stuff that really essentially has become non-valuable to you. And probably what you're going to do is you're going to convince yourself like, oh no, there's some real sentimental value to this thing that I literally never use and sits in the back of my closet. But no, if it sits in the back of your closet, it has no real value to you if it just sits there. And maybe it could be valuable to someone else, but if not, just don't be afraid to get rid of stuff. If you don't actually use it, we don't need to accumulate things for which we have no clear need. It is good to use things and own things intentionally, only as much as we need. And that then is rule number 3. I don't accumulate more stuff beyond what I know that I need. That hopefully you have now taken inventory of all your stuff. You've gotten rid of a bunch of it, and now you're at a good baseline. Like, okay, all the stuff that I have, I've cleaned out hopefully a bunch of space, and I feel like I got so much more room and everything's clean and tidy, and I have intentional use of the stuff that I possess. And now I don't need to refill the space with things that I don't actually need. So as we go about buying things or adding stuff to our life, then we are already at a baseline. It's easier to justify getting random stuff when you already have a bunch of random stuff. But if you have taken these first two steps, like, no, I'm at a good baseline and I know all the stuff I have, everything has clear and intentional use, then it's harder to justify just accumulating more random stuff. So that third principle is then just, if you're going to add any more stuff, then it should have a clear use. And if you don't know what the clear use is, then don't accumulate more stuff. And then finally, rule 4 is I take good care of the material goods that I regularly use. That the things that you do have an intentional use for, especially the things that you use very often, you ought to treat like they are valuable, because really the things that you use often, if they last, then you never really have to accumulate any more stuff. Like, in all honesty, part of the reason that I still wear these same gray shirts that I've had for almost 5 years now are because they've lasted, and I only need these shirts, so I don't accumulate beyond what I know that I need, and I take good care of the stuff that I have, so I've had no need to buy more shirts for 5 years. And it can be that simple. If we can take good care and steward the material possessions that we have, then we can maybe save money, but also save a lot of space, physically and internally, of not needing to accumulate any more things. So those are my 4 rules. Again, they are: number 1, I regularly assess inventory. I know what I have. Number 2 is I get rid of stuff that I don't intentionally use and for which I don't have a clear need. Number 3 is I don't accumulate more stuff beyond what I know that I need. And number 4 is I take good care of the material goods that I regularly use. These hopefully help us to live this material simplicity and enjoy the goodness that I think comes from a simple, clean, intentional life of stewarding our material possessions. Because why does this matter? Again, I think Jesus invites us to live simply, to not accumulate more than we need, to not focus so much on wealth, and just to operate based on the basic necessities that that we really need. I think also we just have the experience that, like, a clean space, a tidy, organized, intentionally used space just feels good. I think it gives us some amount of freedom. I think often our external space can become sort of an image of our internal space. And if we've cleaned up our external space, all the junk that we possess, then maybe it helps to clean up some of the junk internally. It gives us more space for good things, to focus on the good things of life, relationships, friends and family, and all that comes with that. So hopefully this has helped. And if you want to talk about it more, then leave a comment down below. If you want to hear more of my hot takes on money, let me know. But hopefully this helps you to be more free and to live the life of simplicity and joy that Jesus promises.